Hi everyone. In this video, I will cover five things: what virtualization is, how a hypervisor works, the difference between horizontal and vertical scaling, what business process as a service means, and finally, the three characteristics of service orientation in cloud computing. So, let's start with virtualization. What is virtualization? Virtualization is a technique that helps multiple users share the same physical technology resources. Instead of piece of hardware, software, or a storage being tied to one single use, virtualization creates a logical or virtual version of that resources so it can be accessed by users transparently as if each of them had their own dedicated copy. One important type is hardware virtualization, where multiple virtual machines are created on a single physical computing platform. This is the foundation of cloud computing. Because of virtualization, cloud becomes scalable and agile. Technically, cloud computing could exist without virtualization, but it would be far less efficient and much harder to manage. The benefits are significant. It makes cloud resources easier to manage. It consolidates data centers and reduces cost. And if one server fails, the virtual machine can simply be started on another device in the resource pool, keeping downtime to a minimum. This brings us to the hypervisor, the software that makes virtualization possible. A hypervisor is software, hardware, or a firmware that provides virtual partitioning capabilities and runs directly on the hardware. It's also called a virtual machine manager or VMM. It installs on a physical machine and creates virtual machines. And from there, it controls and monitors every virtual machine, tracking how much processor, memory, and other hardware resources each one is using. Each virtual machine can then run its own operating system and application tailored to what the user actually needs. So, there are two main types of hypervisor: bare metal virtualization, hosted virtualization. Bare metal virtualization, where the hypervisor is installed directly on the hardware, acting as the operating system itself, whereas in hosted virtualization, the hypervisor runs as a component on top of an existing operating system. Now, let's talk about scaling. The ability of an IT resources to handle increased or decreased demand. There are two types: horizontal scaling and vertical scaling. So, horizontal scaling means allocating or releasing resources of the same type. Adding more of the same server is called scaling out, and removing them is called scaling in. For example, if one virtual server is under heavy load, we can simply add two more identical virtual servers alongside it. This is the most common form of scaling in cloud environments. Whereas vertical scaling, on the other hand, means replacing an existing resource with one of higher or lower capacity. Swapping a 2 CPU virtual server for a more powerful 4 CPU server is called scaling up, and the reverse is called scaling down. Vertical scaling is less common in the cloud because it usually requires downtime while the replacement happens. Next is business process as a service, or BPAAS. It's one of the cloud delivering models a provider must support alongside SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS, which I have talked about in previous video. A business process service can connect to a variety of these services. For example, an analytical process that pulls in data from multiple CRM and social media applications. The benefits of BPAAS is that it frees the business and IT department from having to manage the underlying infrastructure. You don't need to worry about the middleware, networking, or database behind it. Security is built into the service from the start rather than added on afterward. Real world examples include companies like PayPal providing payment services, Skype providing video calls, and MailChimp providing email marketing, all delivered as a business process as a service. Finally, service orientation in cloud computing. Service orientation in cloud computing has three key characteristics: modularity, reusability, flexibility. Modularity means breaking down large, complex application into small, manageable, reusable components. Reusability, designing services like a customer credit check service so they can be reused across many different business processes rather than rebuilt each time. And flexibility, which comes directly from modularity and reuse, allowing the business to adapt quickly provided the services are properly cataloged, managed, and continuously improved. um, so to recap, virtualization lets multiple users share physical resource. The hypervisor is the software that manages virtual machine. Horizontal and vertical scaling let cloud resources grow or shrink in different ways. BPAAS delivers entire business processes as a cloud service, and modularity, reusability, and flexibility are what makes service orientation work. That's all for today. Thank you for listening. Bye.